Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Child and Youth Studies minor tutorial that's specific for nursing students at USF. Today, I just want to quick go over some of the core requirements as well as how they fit in with the minor requirements. And also I can answer some frequently asked questions along the way. So these are your core requirements that you've probably seen as part of thinking about your nursing program the whole way through. But if you are doing a nursing program, you know that one of the popular minors to have is a minor in child and youth studies. Now, the way that this child and youth studies minor works is really nice because there is a lot of overlap that can work for nursing students going through this program. So I want to go through some of those specifics. In total, there are 7 classes that will be part of your program. 3 can have the same course code as your major, meaning those that are NURS. And for nursing students, though, there might be more that you actually are required to take that really do count towards your minor. So let me go over that today. So in general, when I think about nursing students who are adding a child and youth studies minor, you're going to take Nursing 420, your women's health class. You're going to take Nursing 421, your medical surgical 2, nurse care for children, and you're going to do your clinical lab. That's your nursing care and women and care of women and health. There's also one other class that's required of the minor that you're also already doing, and that is Gen Psych. So if you're thinking about the 7 classes that you need to complete that are part of your child and youth studies minor, you see that you're already intending to take 4 of them from the get-go. Now, to try to figure out how those other 3 classes fit in there, then let's look at this. So the first one that I want to talk about is a child development or adolescent development. All students doing a child and youth studies minor are required to either take child development or adolescent development because it kind of gives you the foundations of child development at different stages. Another required course of students is that you take a class in sociology. For our students, for our minors, this is going to be either Social Worlds of Children or Diversity of American Families. The interesting thing about this too is you're required to take an Intro to Sociology as part of your nursing program. Oftentimes we'll find ways that we can overlap Social Worlds of Children and Diversity of American Families, so that can also count as Intro to Sociology as part of nursing. So if you haven't taken Intro to Sociology yet, this would be one of those things that you want to just check in with both me as well as your nursing advisor to see if one of these courses could possibly count for Intro to Sociology. Then when we look at the elective courses, even though you've taken Women's Health or Nurse 420 or Medical Surgical Nurse 421, you need to take one additional non-nursing elective class. Usually that class comes from either communication studies or psychology or sociology. And so there's lots of wiggle room in here. The one thing I do want to say is, let's say, for instance, you take child development and adolescent development. Child development will count as your required course, but then adolescent development will count as your elective course. However, if you take child development, it's not going to count both as a core course and as an elective. You need to make sure that in total you're taking 7 classes. The same goes with your sociology class. If you take Social Worlds of Children, it's not going to count both as one of your 3 required core courses and also count as an elective course. Instead, it's going to count only in one bucket. I should note, as a frequently asked question, every once in a while, there is a semester that maybe Social Worlds of Children or Diversity of American Families is not offered. Anytime there is a situation like that, you will look for an email from me, Allison Thorson. And what I do is I usually offer an alternative to one of those courses so that we can make sure that you were exposed to sociology in some way that related to children. Now, big picture, it might feel like there's little nuances to this, but as you're going through, if you keep in mind in general that it's 7 classes to complete the Child and Youth Studies minor, and knowing that 4 of those classes you're already taking towards your nursing degree, maybe even a 5th if that sociology class already counts there, this can be a really good fit for a lot of nursing students. The other thing that I do want to acknowledge is many students from nursing will come in and will have already taken Gen Psych at another institution. That usually works fine. It even works fine if that Gen Psych class was only transferred in for 3 credit units. So let me kind of help you make sense of this, for example. So if you came in and you transferred in general psychology and that transfer class came in as 4 credit units, well, then there's not a whole lot to talk about. But every once in a while, as you can see on this second example, if that psychology class came in as a 3 credit unit class, it still will work out for you okay, because when you complete those 7 classes, you'll still be at 24 units. Now, every once in a while, I will have a student ask me, well, what if I transferred in both Gen Psych and Child Development? That can get tricky if the courses that you're transferring in are not 4 credit unit credits. And so oftentimes students really want to try to do a lot of their courses at USF. But again, those are all little nuanced things that we can always talk about. In general, if you have questions, what I usually tell people to do is go into a Google search and just type in USFCA Child and Youth Studies minor. At that page, you will be able to find my information. I'm Professor Allison Thorson. I'm happy to help. The other thing that you can always do, if you know that this is something you want to do, you can go into your COPA or your change of academic program, and you can just add this minor. Once you add the minor, give it about 24 hours to process. And this is the exact way that you add the minor or drop the minor if it ends up not being a fit for you. All in all, hopefully this tutorial gave you a pretty good sense of what the Child and Youth Studies minor looks like, gave you a chance to really think about whether this is a fit for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to speaking with you, and have a great semester.